Namattu Ratanatayasa, my homage to the Triple Gem, the Buddha, the Dhamma, and Arya Sangha. Again, let me pay respect to both Venerable Dhamma speakers. First, we have Most Venerable Dr. Kusupip Vajrapanyo from Wat Nikrotawan, Golden Kingdom of Cambodia. Thank you for joining with us today. And again, we have invited Most Venerable Viryadhammo Poikandal from Wat Jotanaram in the New York City, USA. So it is a great honor for our program today that both Venerable speakers have spent some time to share with us today. And I would like to inform that this is the program of Buddhasasana program brought to you by the Cambodian Buddhist Monks Society in the USA, presided over by Prahati Mani Mangsang, the abbot of Wat Munisataram in the state of Minnesota. So this program is the English Buddhasasana program aiming at promoting and spreading the Buddha's teaching in English, specifically for those who do not understand Khmer. So we hope that by the today's discussion, it will bring some understanding for people around the globe who would like to understand about Buddhism. Especially today, we're going to discuss something about Cambodian Buddhism, not just the Buddhism in the Kingdom of Cambodia, but also, you know, how Buddhism of Cambodia plays its role in the part of the Western world, specifically in the USA as well. So today, our speakers is going to contribute the experiences, what they have witnessed and, you know, seen according to their understanding and their knowledge of the religious practices, both in the countries and internationally. So without further ado, I would like to start the first question with Most Venerable Vajrapanyo Kusupip from the Kingdom of Cambodia. First of all, let me welcome, say greeting to Most Venerable. How have you been, Phante? How have you been?
I'm fine.
Yeah, so
okay.
how is everything in Cambodia?
We are facing the COVID-19 and we are fighting with it right now.
So is everything okay at your temple?
All right. We have about 200 monks and 150 nuns. But we are okay. Even though it's a little bit quiet at the temple right now.
Yeah, I hope that everyone is doing fine, even though the outbreak is happening in Cambodia. So I still believe, I still hope that the Dhamma can protect our people in Cambodia. So, well, let me start the first question by asking a little bit of, you know, the past history of Cambodian Buddhism, if you may enlighten us some knowledge about, you know, how Buddhism, you know, play its role in Cambodia, and also about the historical date, which you can indicate that, you know, since when the our country accepted Buddhism into its practice. So please, Phante.
I just go brief on that. Okay, so as we already learned that Buddhism was introduced in Suvarnabhumi, the Golden Land, since Asoka Emperor. But somehow Buddhism become a state religion in 13th century in the reign of King German VII. But before that, Buddhism already existed and was followed and practiced by Khmer people during that time, but only after the reign of the King German VII, he devoted his life to the promotion of Buddhism. That Buddhism became a state religion, and he even in his oath that he wanted all the king after him to follow, to practice, to promote Buddhism. I think after the King German VII, the Theravada Buddhism emerged in the land of Cambodia, and now become a prominent sect in Cambodia, Theravada Buddhism, except in the Khmer Rouge.
Yeah.
And that is a short history that I can recount. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Most Venerable Doctor, for giving some, historical background about the Theravada Buddhism emergence in the Kingdom of Cambodia. As you mentioned, it started to be strongly rooted, specifically in the reign of the King Jayavarman VII in the 13th century AD. And of course, as we have known that it's not just Theravada school that has been influenced to the Kingdom of Cambodia, but we have heard about the Mahayana school also was once influenced or arrived to the Kingdom of Cambodia. So, Venerable Viriya Dhammo Pojkandal, can you share us something about that, or you may add something to the same question? And then,
first of all, I would like to say I'm very happy to be with Venerable today and to be here for all people listening to this broadcasting. It is the first day and the first time for me to be here. Thank you very much for invitation. I would like to add what Dr. Vajirapanya Kusapip said about Buddhism in Cambodia historically. Buddhism can spread, can adopt it, can have the country, the society.
It's 9 o'clock.
Individually as Cambodian people because of the kings, because of the leaders. So Buddhism spread it and adopted first by the leaders. So this is the most important for us to understand that when the leaders doesn't believe in Buddhism, doesn't adopt Buddhism, Buddhism cannot be cultivated, cannot be adopted. It's just the identity of the nation. It's just in the law of the land. And Buddhism since then and now we saw that it is the most important for Cambodian people, not for only rural peoples, but especially for the leaders. The leaders and simple people cannot live without Buddhism. We know that whenever Buddhism disappear, the country and the people also disappear, also had a lot of problems. And we saw that the two forms in Cambodia of Buddhism were and now Mahayana and Hinayana. And now we have Dhamma. The two forms still the most important for Cambodian people. It means that Buddhism is in the heart of Cambodian people already, but practically we do not reach the goal yet. So I see that we should do whatever we can to be cultivated in the heart of the leaders, so that we can do whatever we want and we can reach our goal to be harmonious, to be united, and to be peaceful as the teachings of Buddha. So thank you very much. That's all I want to say.
Thank you so much. I think it's you brought out a very interesting point about Buddhism can rooted, very strongly in the country or on the land. It's all depend on the leader of that country. If only people are practicing, the teaching, but if their leader does not practice, so it can cause some trouble as well. So it has to go along, right? So I think that is very, important point that we should consider for today as well. Just like what happened in Burma, I believe that people are very, dedicated to practicing Buddhism, but sometimes, due to evil, wicked mind of the people or of the person, they can cause some trouble to, to the public at large. So thank you so much for sharing with us. Let me turn back to Most Venerable Dr. Kusupip about, I want you to give an overview of the present time, how, if we compare from the past up to today, do you see any development in terms of the Buddhist practices in Cambodia? Do you see, because I see that a lot of people know that you have been working very hard to spread the Dhamma, to teach the Dhamma, even directly and also on social media. Do you see how much people have turned towards the teaching of Buddhism? Mute.
Okay, thank you for the question. I was very worried when I was a little bit younger. Most of the younger population didn't attend or didn't pay attention to Buddhism, the Buddha's teaching. And I thought, what can I do? How can I approach them? How the Dhamma reach out to them? And I started teaching at the primary school, secondary school, high school, and then I went to university to take some degree there in order to make them believe that I'm not ignorant. I somehow, in terms of general knowledge, and then I start to realize that all of them need the teaching of the Dhamma in order to live a good life. And that is why I start to somehow make a very short, simple teaching, post it on social media. And I see something change. I mean, they start to realize, oh, the Dhamma is not for old people. The Dhamma is for everyone. The Dhamma is the medicine of the mental illness. And I see them coming to the temple. I mean, every Buddha day, Buddhist holiday, the not only young, not only old people come to the temple. Now, almost 50% of the people coming to the temple are young. I mean, in their middle age, 20, 30 something, 40 something, and some other older people still come to the temple. And one more thing that made me happy is they bring their kids to the temple to offer flowers to the Buddha, to light the candle and all those stuff. They even this kid is running around, that's okay, but the good point is that they come to the temple. And one more thing that made me happy is that the kids ask the parent, please come to the temple. And that is something strange. The kid didn't, I mean, they don't really want to come to the temple, but they ask their parent to come to the temple and to clean and to do all this meritorious deed at the temple.
They enjoy something going there.
Yeah, they enjoy, and they ask their parent to come, and that's so amazing for me. So that is very small observation.
Yeah, so I would ask the following up question, like, what do you think would be the most specific reason behind the change? Like traditionally people practicing Buddhism, right, and mostly old people, in the past coming to the temple quite often, but we see today there are a big change, take place. So what is the most important reason behind it that you can see why the young people change turn their mind towards practicing Buddhism?
I think they are facing challenges in life. They mentally suffer. They find ways to heal their heart. And some young people try to take different approach, like drinking, singing, going to club and all the stuff. And I met them, and some of them, sometimes in their middle age, they said that they already gone through those practices, but didn't produce a good result. So they turn into the Dhamma, and they feel that it's good for them. And that the result, I think that the result make them change their behavior, coming to the temple, offers some to the monks, and they feel just happy to be in a peaceful place like the temple.
So most venerable, yeah, I think I'm noticed when you talk about why people nowadays start to enjoy coming to the temple. I think one thing also might be the reason, maybe due to the management of the temple, of the monastery as well, right? If the temple is not clean, is not well decorated, or we don't know how to get people into courage, so what is the way how is the idea that you manage the temple so that people can come and enjoy, feel delightful in coming to the temple? What is your method?
I think that we should refer to the title, the name. The temple originally named Arama, or what. So what is the place of practice? Definition of what. And Arama, definition of Arama is the place where you go and be happy. So like in the Buddha time, Jetavanarama, the very first temple of the Buddha, is the royal garden. Very, I mean, the Popirima, Jetavanarama, yeah, it's a royal garden. And another temple, Velavanarama. Very beautiful. Even the queen wanted to visit. She just heard it, so beautiful, Velavanarama. I wanted to visit that place. Ordinary people wanted to come to the nice place, and it's also a place where we get happiness. I mean, in terms of environment, in terms of the forest, we already get some sort of happy and joy feeling inside. So the temple management is important. You need to have a worship place like the stupa, the Bodhi tree, and somehow a garden and an open space. Don't just build so many things into a very small place, and the people just get frustrated when they come in. They don't feel well.
Yes. So I have another, like follow-up question adding to onto that. What is the most interesting part to the middle-aged people and also the kid? Like, what they interesting the most when they come to your temple? Have you noticed about that?
I think the
or could be any activity that the monks lead them to do, in your temple.
Especially on the Buddha Day, we have a program. The monk lead praying, meditating, and going around. I mean, paying homage to the Buddha, the Dhamma, the Sangha, and lighting the candle. So those activities make them feel happy. I mean, beside their busyness at home, at business, they come to the temple, enjoy the beauty, enjoy the meritorious deed, enjoy the peacefulness. And that is what make them want it on the Buddha Day. I mean, we don't announce them to please come
Just
to the temple,
right?
but they just come.
Yeah, because I think because they have experienced some joy or some happiness that which bound their mind to come whenever. I think they've been expecting to come to the temple, because they have gone through such a happy and joyful experience coming to the temple. So here it is important to keep in mind that in the name of the monks or the leader of the monastery, we should establish the temple with good environment and also with sanitation, how to manage the temple based on the idea of not just the happy place to visit, but also the knowledgeable place where people come and can learn something. If just coming to enjoy, to see, to witness, that's not enough, right? So we must come, besides seeing some beautiful, delightful things, that also some knowledge should be should be able to gain as well. So I think that's the most important part when people enjoy coming to the temple. Even you say about the kids, so I myself used to join with your program, teaching the children and the kids, meditation for children, and I witnessed they enjoy playing around. Even though kids, they need to play, but they enjoy the space as well. And when we can give some guidance, so they listen to us and we can let them play around for some times as well, right?
Okay, just add a little bit to that. Very good point, Venerable. When people come to the temple, as a monk, as a teacher, what do you give them? Is there anything you can help them happier? I just have a small tip. That don't just ask. Don't just, I need this, I need that, I want this, I want that, I want you to help build this, I want you to help build that. They will feel not so happy. If they are happy, they just can donate more if they are happy with the Dhamma. So first thing, teach them, share with them what make life happier. When they get happiness, they feel satisfied. They are willing to donate more. That is what I observe.
Yeah, I think that's a great advice for all of us. And I myself, you witness the situation just like you said. People coming from home, from different places to the temple in expecting to get, some enlightenment, some, joy or peace in terms of spirituality, right? But when they come to the temple, all they hear is, asking for this and that. So that's gonna, ruin the environment of their spirituality. So we should build, a place where a person can have the spirituality grow stronger when they come to the temple. At least, provide the environment that is based on Dhamma, that is based on the teaching of the Buddha. So people come enjoy and they can get some Dhamma back home, and get some takeaway Dhamma, not getting something back like anger or disappointment. So that's not the way. So thank you very much, Phante. I will turn back to you. So let me move to Most Venerable Viriya Dhammo, who is residing in Wat Jotanaram in New York City. So Phante, can you share with us about the situation at your temple in New York City, about the, Cambodian people? Do you see any, development in terms of the practice of Buddhism by the Cambodian people in, around your area, like your neighborhood? Have you noticed any development or, any interesting thing about how Cambodian people practice Buddhism over there?
Thank you again. Yeah, my temple in New York, in the Bronx City, it is a small temple. It is a two-family house that we can use for the temple, and it was purchased on 1985. So as you said about, usually Cambodian people adopt Buddhism as our culture. It's not in the heart of Buddha yet. So, however, whenever Cambodian people live, they always try to have a temple, because Buddhism in the heart already. So my temple, I can say that it is better than before in terms of people come to the temple for ceremony, for observing Buddhist holidays, and learning the teachings of Buddha. They can chant, especially now in the hard time, pandemic, global pandemic. People need Dhamma. They really need Dhamma. They understand that they have everything, but what they don't have is Dhamma. And they feel scared, they feel to depend on something, especially the teachings of Buddha. I heard that some of my people told me they first scared so much, so they turned to Buddhism and they try to listen to the teachings of Buddha on YouTube, especially Guru Kusapip. Yeah. He spread a lot of teachings of Buddha, and I saw that people understand a lot more, as he said. Even we feel scared so much, but we cannot we cannot forget the temple. We cannot forget Buddhism. So some people still try to come to the temple, especially on Buddhist holiday. So my temple has Buddhist holiday. People come to my temple. Sometimes 20 people, sometimes a few people, and sometimes none. Yeah. So like Lukrukuzupiev said, we challenge a lot of problems in life, but we cannot forget Buddhism.
So Pandey, according to your experience, you see that people are coming to the temple, and of course they need spiritual guidance and help during this hardship. According to your experience, what had you guided them, according to the teaching of Buddha, during this hardship, how Dhamma can help, improve their mental quality to be calm or to be happy during this pandemic?
What I saw myself, I have more time to talk to them about Dhamma when they come on Buddhist holiday. When we have ceremony, we do not have time to talk to them.
Yeah. Right.
So most of them are old people, and you know that old people is not easy to change. It's hard to change, but however, they are hard with Dhamma. They understand that they cannot go to live somewhere else without temple. So they come here, they happy.
What makes them happy? And what makes them happy?
One thing I saw that they got what they wanted, because they want to offer something to the monks. They believe they're doing the good things, and they could do that. And they saw the Buddha, they saw the monks, and they can meet other people also. This is the priority that I can see, that they can be happy. And more thing that we taught them about Buddhism, they follow us, they understand, but I think I saw most of them did not memorize. Yeah, they just understand when we talk, but after that they forgot and just understand a little bit.
At least they are happy, right?
Yeah, they're happy. They got what they want.
Yeah. I think that's an important point. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Bante, for bringing out that point. I believe that people, even during the hardship, at least they try their best to at least come to the temple once a week or once a month, because they hold Buddhism dear and dear into their heart. Even some people, they don't have much knowledge about what Buddhism really is, but their heart, traditionally, and they really, love Buddhism, and they, they cannot escape from coming to the temple. So they can be happy even just coming to the temple, seeing the monk, seeing the Buddha image, seeing and have a chance to talk to the monks and other people. I think that's the way to have blessing, like in the Mangala Sutta, right? Having seen the recluses and the samana, the sangha, is also the highest blessing. So I believe that like you raised about the point why people are happy when they come to the temple, not just about they could learn something from the temple, but actually they can do what they wish to do, like offering alms or food to the monks. So it can make them happy by seeing the monks. They can be happy by talking to the monk. They feel released, right? So that is the important thing why we should come to the temple. So let me move back to Most Venerable Dr. Kusupip, because you have, I believe you have, met a lot of people, right? From the children up to the elderly people. What do you see that why people like to come to the temple, and what makes them come to the temple? What they can gain from from by coming to the temple? Have you noticed any specific example how people come to the temple and they enjoy doing this and that? And so can you share with me? Yeah, you're mute.
Okay, thank you. I think very first place is to reach out to them. I mean, they learn, they already understand the value of Buddhism, and that what they can lead them to the temple. They after listening to the teaching of the Dhamma on YouTube, on social media, they feel happier. They get the result of the Buddha's teaching, and that they coming to the temple only to pay the tribute, like to say thank you. I usually get that word most of the time when the people come to the temple. Thank you for the teaching, and that means they already understand, they already experience the happiness after listening to the teaching of the Dhamma, and that is the key. And another key point is that when they come to the temple, the environment, the temple management, the stupa, the Buddha tree, the garden, and the monks' behavior is another key point. If the temple is mismanaged, if monks are not well disciplined, when they come to the temple, they feel like, oh, it's not in their heart, they think it's not a very nice place that I want to come. So internally and externally need to work together in order to bring people to the temple, especially guide them, help them to find way out of their suffering inside.
So basically, what is the role of Buddhist monk? Can you share some idea that as a Buddhist monk, what do we need to do in terms of paying back gratitude to our lay devotees who have served us, support us? So what is the role of Buddhist monk, as you have been doing a lot of works for our society? So what is the role of Buddhist monk?
The number one, to learn. When you get ordained, you need to learn. Don't go anywhere. Don't jump over to the talking, to the preaching. First, you need to build the foundation. Learning Buddhism, learning the general knowledge, understanding the people's mind, observing the challenges that people are facing, and learning is very foundation. The second one, you also need to practice by yourself. You need to meditate. You need to put the teaching into the practice in order to get your own experience, in order to fully understand the real benefit of the teaching of the Buddha. After learning, after practicing, you feel, okay, I am happier. And the third one that I think that the role of Buddhist monk is to spread out what you have learned, what you have practiced. I really think from my own experience that I also went through some kinds of stress and problems in life, and I found that the teaching of the Buddha helped me out of those problems, out of those stress, out of those difficulties. And I thought, wow, the teaching of the Buddha is so great. It's the greatest medicine. That's why I thought I will find way. I will find way to somehow share that medicine to the people. And that's why I make short, simple video to the people, and I observed that most of the audience are young.
Yes. So I was wondering how you get, the the participation of the younger generation, because as we see, we can see the gap between the practitioner of Buddhism, especially in Cambodia. We have the elderly people who practice Buddhism traditionally, and sometimes they have some narrow-mindedness of minding some activities which they don't enjoy doing it, but coming back to the modern world, like the young adult, the youths, they tend to learn something from Buddhism, and they tend to behave like in a different way from the older people. So that's why we have the idea of like old Dhamma or new Dhamma, or so there is a gap between them. I see there are some problem in that, even in the United States. For the older people, they tend to have narrow-minded for the younger generation, and the younger generation, they see some shortcoming in the older generation that need to be eliminated, and need to be, abandon some bad behaviors or bad habits, So in terms of, a spiritual leader, or as a Buddhist monk who guided the people, how do you bridge the gap between the old generation and the younger generation to practice Buddhism in harmonization?
One thing I would suggest is a lot of protocol. When they go to this Buddhist ceremony, a lot of chanting, a lot of doing stuff that younger generation didn't understand. And that is makes the gap bigger and bigger. They don't really understand what is the meaning of the chanting. And we don't give them the space where they can understand what is it. And when from my own doing, I really make it short in terms of protocol, in terms of chanting, in terms of, we can do it, we can perform it at the temple or at some other places. But when I go to school, I go to the university, I cannot do that. Short protocol, go straight to the point. What is the problem and how can you overcome it? Straight, short, concise, straight to the point. Go to the heart of the problem and let them learn immediately. And that is the theory of what we call in the Western world, they call it the adult learning theory. They don't wait. They want to know the strategy to overcome it, and they want to know the immediate result of it. They don't wait until the next slide or maybe unknown time, but I have a problem and how can I overcome it? And that is the key to reach out them. And that's what I have learned from what I'm doing.
Yeah, I think it's very critical point. As in the United States of America, I have observed the younger generation experience this, some hardship because of the, their parents, their grandparents. They brought them to the temple, but without much explanation, because young people usually want to ask why, why like this, why like that, why you have to do this and why we have to do that, but they cannot give the answer to their children, right? And that's the problem. So the younger generation, when they want to do something, they need to know the reason why. So we cannot just blame them for doing something which we think it is wrong, but actually it is not wrong. Sometimes it's not wrong, it's just not in accordance with the way they like it, right? So sometimes they blame their children. They how to say, they for example, even when the way we offer the food to the monks, some younger generation, they afraid that sometimes they don't go too close. If they go too close, the older generation, they say, no, don't go too close to the monk. That's not good. And they shout out very loudly at the crowd of people. So it feels like embarrassed to them, right? They feel like offended unknowingly. So that's why I think it's important to raise about this point. So people in, Cambodian people across the globe, are trying to approach and learn Buddhism. So we need to give some explanation, not just blaming them for doing something wrong, which they don't know and they don't have the intention to do that. So any more idea on that, on the how can we change this idea? We want to bridge the gap between the old and the younger generation.
One more thing, mostly the younger generation didn't understand Bali. And if we talk without clearly define what is it and what is the benefit of it, they will get lost. So I think in the Buddha time, the general understanding of the people is that they spoke Bali. So the Buddhas taught in Bali, that's okay, because the people easily got it. But now Cambodian young people didn't understand Bali. If we want to approach them, we need to clearly define what the term, for example, the term kokachak, remorsefulness, or I mean, kokachak kadai kahai, sedai krau, regretfulness, something like that. You feel regret for what you have done wrong in the past. But if you just say kokachak, don't be kokachak, okay? They did not understand it. But it's so beneficial. It's so productive if we can explain what is kokachak, regret, remorse. So you just explain, okay, that is gone. You cannot change the past. You can do something in order to help you happier, but you cannot stay in the past. The past is already gone. So the Buddha wants you to overcome it and looking forward to a brighter action, a brighter path. So that is I would suggest all of us as a preacher that we need to somehow clearly define it, what is the benefit of it, and how to overcome it. That is one more thing. The terminology, they don't really understand it. If you want to learn, just chanting cannot help them much. Okay.
Yeah. I think that's very good idea. We have learned something out of that. Pretty much the experience what we have faced here in the United States of America. So I think the best way to get the younger generation is to simplify the teaching to them, right? Not just everything is Pali and without much explanation. So of course we can teach them to believe, but they cannot learn something, because according to the teaching of Buddhism, we should not, the Buddha does not teach us to believe, but to investigate, before we believe, right? So that's why we should find a way to simplify his teaching and easily accessible by the younger generation. So we should change the way, the old generation and the younger generation is different, the gap of time. So let me move back to Venerable.
Just one more to add a little bit. I'm sorry to interrupt. One more thing I would suggest to reach out to the younger population, not too much. Don't try to pour everything into their head at one time. They will not get anything. So little by little, make them feel, oh, that is nice, that's good. Feel them that they want it more. So that is one more thing that I would suggest. If you want to reach out to younger people, let them taste a little bit. And if they feel taste well, okay, I want it more, and give a little more and give a little more. And that make them come more and more. Okay.
I think I can put that in another word, like try to get them, involved in the activity of what we are doing, because I see that when the monks are chanting and all the grandma and granddad, they are listening, but the younger generation, they don't understand anything. They don't know what it means, in doing so. So they feel like they're not included, right? in the program. They're not included in the ceremony. So it is important to, to get them involved in the activity, so they will enjoy, coming to the temple again and again, just like you said, right? Step by step, not try to put everything into their head, at one time. We should take some time and, walk them step by step, right? Towards the understanding. When they understand, I think they will voluntarily come, right? By themselves, don't need to call them. So I think that is the shortcoming. Yeah, that is the shortcoming, the way we teach our younger generation. So let me move to Venerable Poikadao, because he lives in the United States of America, where, the barriers of language always happen to our younger generation when coming to the temple. Sometimes they don't speak Khmer and the monk don't speak English. So just seeing each other's face, smiling with each other and learn nothing. And sometimes the monk themselves don't have the intention to share knowledge, to let them learn by coming to the temple. Sometimes they do want to share, but they don't have the capacity because of the language barrier. So according to your experience, when the people come to your temple, how do you, manage the situation, when they do the ceremony, like the blessing, chanting, or any funeral service at the temple? Do you often, provide the, program of sharing the Dhamma knowledge, explaining to the younger generation as well one day?
Thank you, Ken. Yeah, every Buddhist, even in the temple and outside, we I always focus on the teachings of Buddha. And the first priority is to teach them the wisdom of Buddha. But I think you also understand, you also know that the United States is the country, the free of the land for people all around the world to come and live here. And they also adopt different cultures. It means that they adopt Cambodian culture. They also adopt American culture. And the old people adopt only Cambodian culture, I see.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's the problem, right?
Yeah. And young people, I see that only American culture, young people. And old people do not have enough power to teach their children, I see. They feel and they say to me that this is America, this is not Cambodia. They have freedom of what they want to do. And parents, I think they do not have enough education to teach their children also. Like you said, they come to the temple, they know that they do the good things, but they do not understand what the good thing is. So it's not cultivated to their children or next generation. So most of the time, old people come to the temple. So like we teach old people, we do not teach young people. It's very rare to see young people to come to the temple. And I see that it is not only Cambodian people, it is also others ethnicity, like Christianity. They can bring the young generation, the young people to the church because they have the school there. They teach there. we do not have the school. We have only Buddhism. We have only the monks. We do not have school.
Why is it so, Bante? Can we not build a school or provide a place for Buddhist learning in the temple?
Yeah, I saw that we are all trying to have that, but I do not see that now. Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yes, we are trying to build a temple, but not school. We spend a lot of for building the Praviha.
Yeah.
We spend a lot of that and build a temple, but the school, we cannot do that now. I don't know how long can we do that. So I think
a good idea, Bante. Do you think we as Cambodian monks who live in the United States of America, we should create, the Dhamma school in every temple that we live, right? So that people, our younger generation, can learn from the temple. Is it a good idea? How do you think?
I think if we have that topics that is the first priority, I think we can do that.
Yeah.
I think my temple is very hard to do that, but I see a lot of big temple can do that.
Yeah.
But I do not see yet. So if we think about the future, Cambodian culture, Cambodian especially in the United States, in the future, we do not see the future because the young generation do not understand Cambodian culture and Buddhism. I think that I when I talk to journalists, I always talk about that. I worried about that, but I could not do it. I'm trying to do, but I think the best way to teach young generation on online, Facebook, YouTube, I think there is effective way to do that and a lot of time to do that. So I see Guru Kusapip and Aung San Suu Kyi and other teacher, they were on YouTube and a lot of people listen from there. Also young generation, but how to keep our temple to be alive forever for many generation, I don't know. So thank you very much.
Yeah, definitely, because if we just build the building cannot last 1,000 years, but only the knowledge that that can pass from one generation to another. So it is important to to install the right knowledge to the younger generation. So by providing education, I think it is so important for the future of Cambodian people in throughout the foreign countries. We see in Cambodia the temple or monastery is not only the place for the spirituality practice, but also a place where culture, literature, and a lot of things are preserved, right, by the monks. So if every temple do not have the school to provide Buddhist education and provide the Khmer culture, history, I think just like you said, right, we cannot see the bright future in them. So we should awake. I mean, we should be mindful of that. When I step into this land after 2 years being here, I realized that we have a lot of temples throughout the states, especially in my state, we have around like 12 to 13 states. But when they ask about which temple that provide learning the Khmer language or provide teaching Buddhism, it's hard to tell people where they can come and learn Khmer Buddhism, So I myself, because I have been engaging with a lot of youths here, so I usually got the question from them, asking again and again where I can learn Khmer, where I can learn Buddhism. So it made me, to start the organization, and my organization is focusing on, giving the space opportunity for people come and learn Buddhism through online. So I named it Dhammika Academy. So I'm trying to give the space for our younger generation to engage in learning Buddhist education and providing Khmer lessons and learning the cultures and history, because I believe it is so important for us as monks when we come to live even in the United States. We're not just living for our own comfort, but we should think about the future ahead of us as well, what we can provide to the people here. We have been supported by them, so what is something that we can do to repay their gratitude and also for the benefit of our Buddhism and Cambodia as well. So thank you very much for sharing. And
can I please add a little bit?
Yeah, sure, Honde.
We lose the most important culture to be in the temple, to be Buddhist people. I experienced in my life, I was a boy. I did not know anything. And my mom held my hand to the temple. And the way I walk with her, the way I was with her, the way I did with her, and whatever I did in the temple when I was a boy, I never forget it in my life. It is beautiful. It is good. What I can say, because my mom is my heart. The temple I used to be, and now I became a monk. So now I saw that people lose their culture. When they come to the temple, they do not want to bring their children. They do not want to hire their children to go to the temple. And we can see there are other country, like Islam, like Jewish people. Those people always teach their children how to dress, how to pray, how to go. They do not go alone. They go with their children. They teach them all the time. So Cambodian people here, I heard they said that they could not do that.
Why?
And, they could not do that. I told them, but they could not do that. Why? Because, like I said before, this is America. This is not Cambodia. They have full freedom. They cannot bring their children to come to the temple. What I mean is, it's not all, but it's rare to see people to come to the temple with their children. So now we are teach only old people, not young people. So thank you again. Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much, Phante, for interesting story you mentioned about your past experience, how important the role of Buddhism, play toward the people of Cambodia. No matter where they live in the world, Cambodian people always embrace Buddhism with their heart, even though they might not be knowledgeable enough in the teachings of the Buddha, but they hold the Buddhism dear and near to their heart. So the lack of something is something that we miss is the role of Buddhist monk as well. To my idea, as Buddhist monk, we have the role to impart knowledge to them. They provide everything, support the monk with the 4 requisites, and they want their children to get to learn the Dhamma, understand Buddhism. So I think as Buddhist monks, as younger generation like myself, I think we should commit ourselves to have them learn the Buddha's teaching, instead of their parents, their grandparents who were not able to have them understand the Buddha's teaching. So let me move back to Most Venerable Dr. Kusapip. As you mentioned already earlier about the role of Buddhist monk. Now let me ask, because we are running out of time, so this should be the last question about the role of Buddhist monk, also Buddhism in Cambodia. How can we help or provide spiritual guidance and encouragement for people, because nowadays people are facing with some hardship, with some fear due to the situation of what is happening, what is going on in Cambodia and around the world as well. The violence is happening, the COVID outbreak is happening, fear is happening, economical downward is happening as well. So what is your idea, what is your tips in helping people to balance their mind and stay peaceful amid this situation?
That is pretty hard question. And I think that you already did something to help people during this time through meditation teaching. I think that meditation may help a lot to the people, especially in the times of turbulence. I mean, not in terms of in Burma. I don't know really. I don't really know the situation there, but in terms of pandemic right now, people are so stressed out. They stay in the temple. They feel isolated, loneliness. So it's important to have some time to practice meditation. Have enough sleep is another key to your mental stability. And control or limit the time to consume the news on social media. I think don't spend, whole day scrolling the telephone up and down. That will destroy your mental health. So limit your time, do some activity outside, planting vegetable, reading, learn to at home. I during this time I learn. From one or two or three people coming together, just learn, and you get something new every day. So you reward yourself with new things, with new knowledge that you gain, so you don't feel stressed out. I feel like, oh, I learned something. So like giving yourself a reward, so you feel happy. I think that is a key. If you don't have anything new to upgrade yourself to the next level, you feel frustrated. So meditation, activity, learning, doing something that make you happier. Don't just sleep, don't just look at the screen, don't just contemplate all bad news and get panic. I think that is not a good way to for right now to help yourself out of the problem. The problem is also the problem is still a problem, but you need to be able to build yourself mentally strong in order to fight the challenge outside. And that's what I think I in the near future, I think I would have a very small meditation app. I think Venerable TV may help on that. And now people are in lockdown inside Cambodia, or maybe outside Paris already announced that they have another lockdown. So I think that app may help them. Very small beginner meditation program, something like that, so it can help them to stay stable in this time.
Yeah, thank you. That would be great, Ante. I'm happy to hear that. If we can do something to help our people during this hardship, and that is the duty of the monk, right? We're not just caring, but we should be giving something to help release their suffering. This is the duty of the monk as expounded by the Buddha himself. So thank you so much, Most Venerable Dr. Vajrapanyo Kusapip from Wat Kulateng, Cambodia. Now let me hear from Most Venerable Virya Dhammo Poikandal from Wat Chotanaram, New York City of USA. What is your advice or recommendation for people to maintain their mental peace, amid the COVID outbreak, especially, throughout the world, not just in Cambodia, but in America as well?
Thank you again. Venerable Kusapip said that we should do meditation. Meditation is the first priority to be understood the truth. And to do that, I think it's not easy to do that. We have to learn a lot to do that. And most people cannot do that, I think. But if people can do that, it is the best way of the teachings of Buddha. So I think people should follow the news from the scientists, not from the politics. The politics made you worried and you misunderstand a lot. So every day you have to follow the news from scientists, and you have to know who the scientists you should understand, you should follow, you should do. Now we have vaccine. In America, we have 3 vaccines already. 1 Pfizer, 2 Moderna, and 3 Johnson and Johnson. So the science told you to be vaccinated. So should do that to stop your being worried. And it is not politics, it is the scientists. If we do not believe in scientists, I don't know what to do. But I got first vaccine already.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, so next month I will be vaccinated on 9 April. So I think that beside the teachings of Buddha, we have scientists, so we have to believe in scientists, we have to believe in Buddhism, we have to believe in the good deeds, what we can do. Do not use the free time like Venerable Kusapip said. Do whatever you can. It means that take care of your parents, take care of each other, love each other, and use whatever you can to protect yourself, like the mask and alcohol, and go wherever you can. Do not just go without understanding very well. And now we also have two viruses. People said already, racism and coronavirus. So we have to be careful. We have to follow the news every day, and we can learn whatever we can, like Venerable Kusapip said. So that's all I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Venerable Virya Dhammo, for sharing your last message in our program that we have been discussing over about, the Cambodian Buddhism and the role of Cambodian Buddhism and the monks in upholding or promoting the Buddha's teaching, as well as to preserve the Khmer culture and to be able to, help educate our lay devotees who are thirst for knowledge, So thank you. I hope that this program can be helpful in some ways to our Cambodian people who live all around the globe, who may watch this live show, and I hope that it may help you in some way, if not much, but at least to help you understand more about the Cambodian Buddhism and its practices from generation to another. And I think it is important that we, try to learn more, investigate more into the true teaching of Buddhism, not basically just by tradition, but it is important to understand the true essence of the Buddha's teaching in pure form. And also it's important again to also study our root. It is the culture, the Khmer culture, the Khmer language, that where we are from, the true identity of where we're from. So thank you so much again for both Venerable Dhamma speakers, Venerable Dr. Vajrapanyo Kusupip, who lies from Wat Nikrothwan Kuldateng, Kingdom of Cambodia, and also Most Venerable Virya Dhammo Poikanda, lies from Wat Yotanaram, New York City of USA. Thank you for spending time and contributing the knowledge of Dhamma with us today. Finally, before ending, I would like to share merit derived from this gift of Dhamma. We reach to all people in the universe. May all beings in the whole world be happy, be liberated from fear, danger, and suffering. May all live peacefully and happily. Thank you so much. Goodbye.
Thank you. Thank you. Goodbye.